Hello there. All right, we are going to be talking about time signatures continued. So last time we talked about all of the 4 time signatures, 4/4, 2/4, 3, why am I saying over? It's not a fraction. 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, and then the common time, which is with the C. And now we're moving on to 8s this week, okay? But just to review other possibilities, because these do come up sometimes, and when they come up, you want to have a good reference guide. So if your bottom number is a 1, it tells you the whole note gets the beat. If it is a 2, the half note gets a beat. If it's a 4, we already know the quarter note gets the beat. And then for this unit, if it's an 8, the 8th note gets the beat. Okay, so pause, write those down. You'll want to remember that. All right, so this week we are going to kind of zero focus in on 6/8, okay? So in 6/8, your top number tells you how many counts, how many beats are in a measure, and your bottom number tells you what note gets the beat, okay? Any and all time signatures, that's what those numbers mean. Your 6 means that 6 beats or counts in a measure, and then your 8 tells you that the 8th note gets the beat, okay? That means that your 8th note gets a full beat in this time signature. A quarter note gets 2 beats in this time signature. A dotted quarter note gets 3 beats in this time signature. A half note gets 4 beats in this time signature. And a dotted half note gets 6 beats in this time signature. You have to do a little bit of math to figure this out, right? Because if your 8th note gets 1 beat, typically how many 8th notes does it take to make a quarter note? 2. That's why that gets 2 beats. In 4/4 time, your dotted quarter note gets a beat and a half, which makes 3 8th notes. Half note requires 4 8th notes, and a dotted half note, which usually gets 3 beats in a 4/4 measure, right? 4/4 time, that would be 3 beats. Well, 3 beats require 6 8th notes. So in 6/8 time, your dotted half note will get 6 beats, okay? You will see this a lot in 6/8 time and in 3/8 actually. It is not a triplet. Why is it not a triplet? Because it doesn't say that it's a triplet. How does it say that it's a triplet? Whenever you see a triplet, there's a 3 on top of it to indicate that it is to be counted as a triplet. In 6/8 time, 3/8 time, 9/8 time, whatever 8 time you're in, it's not going to have that 3. It's not a triplet. It's just 3 8th notes barred together. And they bar 3 together instead of 2 because it's 6/8 time. Half of 6 is 3. And when you're counting in 6/8 time, in 3/8 time, in 9/8 time, we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Your strong beats in these time signatures are going to be the first beat in those 3s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's how that's counted, okay? So when you're counting, for example, and you write your counts under music like this, these would be counted 1, 2, 3. That's an 8th note standing on its own, so it gets a beat. 4, and then a quarter note gets 2 beats. 5, 6. The next measure is all quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the final measure has a dotted half note, which gets all 6 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Remember, you have to count all the way to the end of the measure, okay? It needs to have 6 counts in it because that's what the time signature said. Black and white rules on this one. All right, make sure that there's anything else I need to tell you before I send you off. All right. Do remember that it can be easy to confuse these measures with 3/4. because in 3/4 time, often they will be using eighth notes as well. So make sure that it makes sense. The sentences within your measures, okay, your measures of music, which I'm calling sentences right now, those should make sense. It should not feel weird, okay? So count it out, make sure that it makes sense before indicating if it's 6/8 or 3/4. And then just as a quick reminder, 4/4 and common time are the same thing. But that is cut time, okay? When you see that, it means cut time. So you're taking 4/4 and you're cutting it in half, which means every beat inside those measures gets half of its value. So now, if you cut a quarter note in half, now what is it worth? It's like an eighth note. If you cut a half note in half, it's like a quarter note. If you cut a whole note in half, it's like a half note, okay? So just a couple of reminders there as you go in to finish your assignments for this week. And remember, if you need any help, I'm always here. I'm available via Remind, email, and Teams.